All right, let me turn off the music really quickly. Mass Effect music. All right. Welcome to episode 25 of the OverLimit podcast. I don't actually think there's that much news, if I'm being honest with you. There's a couple things, some of which I found today. And I think certain bits of news will be just run through faster than others. So I don't think it's going to be that much. So we'll have plenty of time to discuss other things that we have on our mind. So, Spoon, you had your exam and you've been studying like crazy, and Spectrum's kicking your ass right now. But how are you doing other than that?
Um, yeah, despite the exam, Spectrum seems to have stabilized at least for now. Hopefully it behaves. Yeah, no, I'm good. It's been a really good week.
Good. That's, I
And yes,
mean,
indeed,
that's good.
I'm wearing a red shirt. Big surprise.
And your exam was today. It was earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
this morning.
Okay. Now, this isn't the end of your semester or I don't know,
No,
block.
term. They call them
Term.
terms.
Term.
Yeah.
Sure. This isn't the official end, or is it the end of this term and you're moving to another one, or how is this
Nope.
working?
We started really late. If you'll remember, we started in like late
You
February,
did. Yep.
and our terms are like 4 months. So we in
Okay.
like June 20. We still have one more exam at the end of June.
So one
Like
more month. Okay.
June 24th is the last exam.
Oh, that's interesting. So my class started yesterday, and I have a midterm on the 30th of June, and I'm wondering maybe we'll discuss this, but that week in particular might be a week where
Uh,
we
a
probably just
week
don't do
off.
anything because the
Yeah.
exam I have is that 30th, and I think it is one of those things where it's expected to do it during the class time. So I'll be more than likely spending that day and days before that studying. The I mean, yeah, if you got another month, then you get to take your summer break, I imagine, or are you doing anything in the summer related to school?
Nope. No school during the summer.
That's good. That's good. I can't tell if I've made a mistake or a good decision to take one class this summer. We'll see how it goes.
I mean,
It's
one class shouldn't be terrible. I mean,
it
unless the class in
yeah.
particular is super difficult or super demanding, something like that.
The uh, um not to get too far off track, I'll touch upon it later, I'm sure, if we're just hanging out and not talking about news and such and don't have anything else we want to talk about. But the class is not so much a programming class as it is there's a heavy emphasis on actual computer science. Usually I've been taking programming classes, which is just like learning programming methodologies and things like that. Now we're learning more actual computer science, which means we're not really focusing on it. So in the podcast side, there's a couple things that we should update. There's one big thing. Then there's a couple other things that we can touch upon. The first thing, though, as per usual, let me just make sure that it's working as intended. It is great. So the don't forget, everybody, YouTube, the podcast from last week got posted really late, which was my fault. I got caught up in a lot of things, and I just ended up not downloading and doing it. That
Well,
was
you
part
were
of it
you
was
were
because
gone.
I was gone.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
gone for a few days, like right after
I
the episode last week. So
I
I kind of expected that to happen anyways.
I
So
I had actually planned to try and upload it while I was in Tahoe. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because we were just doing other stuff, and anytime in the evening, it just got too late. We were tired, so we just didn't do anything. Um, I I look like I'm about to brew some potions with my hair. How is that really? Like, it's long, but I don't think that's the really. Is it just out of control? Is that it? But yeah, so please be sure to check out the YouTube guys. Like videos, comment if you want. We'd appreciate it. And I've fallen too far behind in the StarCraft videos too. It's really bad. So that's the one thing I wanted to highlight here. The other thing I wanted to quickly touch on, which I don't actually have it up, but I will put it up right now here. Let's see if I can get the Twitter link. I think it's this, or is it OverLimit? Probably OverLimit.
It's
Cast.
OverLimit Cast.
Yeah.
OverLimit podcast was too long. I
Yeah, yeah.
remember
That's what I remember. Yeah,
when I
yeah.
made it.
Okay. Don't forget we have our Twitter as well. A lot of our updates for episodes and when we're going live will get posted to Twitter. So if you wanted to get extra updates on that, that's where they're
Yeah,
coming from for there.
as well as in our Discord
Yeah,
server, which
obviously our
we have
Discord.
the link for that
Yeah.
in the chat and the command.
The other thing that I in particular wanted to highlight, and actually, you know what? Why don't you talk about the anime watch we're doing this weekend while I set this one up? If you don't mind.
Yeah. So we are as per usual continuing The World Ends with You this weekend. We're gonna have to do Sunday again. I'm gonna be pretty busy on Saturday all day.
Sure.
Um, yeah, playing golf with the fam.
Got
Um,
it.
yeah, for sort of a late Mother's Day celebration for mom since I had my exam this week. Mom was like, "Yeah, just study. We'll play golf next weekend. It's fine." Um, so we're gonna play golf on Saturday, and then Sunday we have D&D, I believe, in the afternoon.
Yes, we do.
At
Yes.
like noon
Pretty sure it's noon. Yep.
with our college
College group.
buddies group.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, we'll be done around 3 or 3:30 Pacific, so we'll probably plan around 4 Pacific time for World Ends with You this weekend.
I
Seems reasonable.
yeah, I don't foresee anything getting in the way of that. So unless I guess our college session goes long, um,
Nah, it'll be good.
I doubt it'll be more than 4 hours. But Ghost can tell
No.
us.
I mean, he's been good about keeping
Yeah,
them
yeah,
not too
yeah,
long
yeah,
recently. He's,
yeah, yeah.
um, so yeah, I mean, I think that's that for that. I think again we'll plan for Sunday again around 4 p.m.
Cool.
Pacific time for World Ends with You episode 6. What we're on.
Okay. Yeah, we are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 6.
After kind of a big cliffhanger at the end of last week's episode.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit of one. A tiny cliffhanger. A very tiny
Hmm.
cliffhanger. Very not that important, right? Not a big one,
No,
right?
only
Only
yeah.
only the biggest thing for our second biggest thing for our characters since the previous one, which is a spoiler. Previous big thing that happened. By the way, I have to ask, what's the thing that was said the
Oh,
other day about me? Is it my
okay.
gorgeous hair? Is it my gorgeous hair?
No, it's not about your hair. It's
Okay.
actually about me.
Oh, really?
And
Go
I
on.
guess we could just talk about it now.
Yeah, go ahead. Who cares? Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
um,
I'm ready.
Megan has told me, um, basically that on stream,
Uh-huh.
she said that it looks like I have resting bitch
You?
face, and that I'm always like look upset or
You.
angry. Yeah, me.
You. Okay.
And
Okay.
she thought I hated her at first.
Uh-huh.
Um, like when she started watching my stream, for example,
I
and would
see.
say stuff in chat, and I just looked upset all the time. So she thought I hated her at first
You just
and
have a
was like
very
tired of her shit.
you have a serious face. That's all I have to say. When you're playing
Hmm.
games, you get a serious face because you're concentrating, you're focusing,
Hmm.
particularly on the games that you're playing, like JRPGs and stuff. You're focused.
Yeah.
That's that's what I'll say is you get a focused face. As someone with experience watching you play games actually in person at college, that was the first thing I was like, okay, he's focused. He's locked in.
Locked in.
You're just locked the fuck in, okay? That's what it
Hmm.
is. And I'm totally I can see it, and that's what I perceive it as. Resting bitch face though is an interesting analysis of that.
Apparently, Try
Apparently,
agrees that it is resting bitch face.
try just stop. Try just stop. You can't
No,
talk. Just
it's
stop.
fine. I thought it was hilarious
Just
and
stop.
kind of endearing, to be honest. I
Oh
thought it was like,
really? Okay. Okay.
I mean,
I'm about to say-
I just thought it was
okay.
funny. I was
Okay.
like,
Okay.
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 It was one of those things where like, wow, no one's ever said, said that to me before.
Yeah. No. I've like. Yeah. I don't. That's not something you commonly hear. My goodness. So, okay, anime 4 o'clock Sunday. Hopefully, unless something comes up. The other thing tomorrow. So I actually have this ready now. I'm moving over to this. This is my map screen. So tomorrow is the D&D campaign for the podcast group. Yes, I know. I drew this myself. You don't need to compliment my artistic skills. Just you
It's
don't have to
beautiful.
say it. You don't have to say it. Did you see the tree? Did you see the tree? The tree looks really good.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
worked really hard on that tree and these trees up here and these cattails. If those who are wondering, these are not stick figures; they are cattails for a swamp. So the campaign starts tomorrow. We have quite a few players. I'm not going to reveal them because I don't want to spoil for anybody here who's involved in the game. But we have a wonderful cast of characters. We have a great stream setup going on at the moment. The way that it's going to work from the streaming side, for those that are curious, just to do this very quickly, I swear to God, Dodge. He says okay, thanks. So the way that this is going to work on the stream side is there will be no videos of the players. I've replaced the player videos with avatars. So for my stream as an example, I have a setup which I haven't used in a while, but I have this whale in the bottom left, and whenever I talk, it flips to a different image. So we're going to do that. So I've asked all the players to give me an image. So when players are talking, we'll be able to tell who's who and everything. And we've removed these cameras because I think it's just like too much of a requirement, and it also takes up a lot more space than the little pictures, avatar pictures. So tomorrow's campaign start. Hopefully, Roll20 will work properly for me. That would really suck if it didn't. It starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be a late start because that was I think just generally the best time for everybody. So okay, Mason's rolling a D69. Thanks,
Hmm.
and it's going to go for about 2 to 3 hours because for East Coast folks, that's a little bit too late of a requirement to make them stay past like 1 a.m. for example. But this is the map. So the campaign is titled The Crypt of the Eternal Flame, and we'll get some more information on that tomorrow. I'll also be talking on stream about my rules and such like that for those of you that are curious to hear how the campaign will be run. So that's happening tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to safely assume everybody's going to be there, but if they're not, they'll just miss the opening sequence and we'll have to figure something out. And the first location we are starting is right here. You probably can't read it because it's impossible to read on screen unless I zoom in a lot. But it is a little town called Stone Valley. So we'll look forward to that. If anybody's interested in joining, you're obviously welcome to hang out the stream. It'll be streamed here. The overlay that I'm using is a very simplistic, just like we're going to see Roll20 like this, and you'll see avatars in the bottom. That's really about it. There's nothing else that's going to be special on it. So again, hopefully people join, and if you like D&D, hopefully you'll enjoy it. If you're just like want to hang out and have some fun with us, that's also something too. For also just like last thing, I don't know how much like Spoon or myself will be interacting with the like chat because we're going to be kind of more involved in the game. At least I
Probably
am.
won't. I probably won't talk to chat like verbally, but maybe I'll type in chat and
Yeah,
stuff like
sure.
that.
And I will go over that. I don't want the players necessarily peeking too much at the stream because then they may get information that they.
Yeah, maybe I'll just like pop out chat so I
Yeah,
have
that's what
chat,
I would do.
not actually watch the stream.
You know what? That's what I'll say for anybody that's in the campaign currently that would still like to interact with Twitch chat. You can pop out the Twitch chat. I'm perfectly fine with that, but do not look at the screen. And I'll talk
But
about that
our
tomorrow.
viewer, but our viewer count.
But our viewer count,
No.
I know it's gonna go down the tubes. It's horrible. So you can pop out the chat though if you guys want to like talk in the chat. You're welcome to with anybody that's hanging out. So I'll be sure to post around in my server and on Twitter and such, seeing if anybody's interested in hanging out and watching. But yeah, hopefully it'll be fun tomorrow. This is obviously we haven't done this in the server, and we've got a lot of players. We I think we have I don't remember how many player
Six
characters
player.
exactly, but I think we have
I think it's
6 or
six.
7.
I think it's 6 players, and
I want
then
to count one,
seven.
two,
The
three,
seventh
four,
is you,
five,
the DM.
6, 7. We have 7.
Are you
We
counting yourself?
I didn't count myself there.
You didn't count. Oh,
Try,
it's 7
Karu,
players.
Mason, this, yourself, Hectic, Dodge.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
7 players. Yeah, that's a big group.
it's a big
That's
group. I don't expect everybody to be there every single day, so it's okay if people want to just like skip a session. The last note before I move on, because I don't want to take too much more time. We're gonna run this every other week. We're not running this every week. It has been requested by a couple folks that every other week would be preferred, and I agree. Actually, we're gonna do every other week. So twice a month, you will see the D&D sessions occur. So again, if
yeah.
you're interested, come hang out. I think it's gonna be. I'm hoping for the best. I think it'll be enjoyable. I'll definitely start the stream early. For anybody that's curious, I'll start the stream early tomorrow if possible, and I will discuss with anybody that's interested how the campaign will be run and how much the rules will get enforced and things. I'll do that. I'll probably try and hop on like 20 to 30 minutes early and just show things and talk. So, okay. That's that. I'm
Yep.
closing the Roll20 now. And I think one last update, if you don't mind, Spoon. Movie night. Since Spoon, you're busy this Saturday for golf.
hmm
I'll start setting up movie night for next week. And I'll start spreading the word and seeing if anybody's interested in doing it next week. We can do during the week, or we could do the weekend. I will follow up on that for those that are interested. The movie will be Avengers: Infinity War. So that's if
Okay.
anybody's interested in that. Infinity War. I said Infinity Ward. Infinity War. Infinity Ward
Avengers.
though.
I need to
Avengers
clean
Call of
my
Duty.
room. My room isn't that dirty. It's really not. I mean, I have some stuff in the corner back there, but
Spoon's room is
that's
not a mess. It's just like that is a relatively clean room if I say so. No, the room that I'm in is a mess. There's just so much stuff. Avengers COD, I can't wait. Okay. So, any other stuff, Spoon? Do you want any other things before we move on to game news?
Tales of Berseria will probably resume on Monday
Okay. Got it.
since I was doing Fridays, but we're doing D&D on Friday, so
Yeah, of
I
course.
can't do that.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
You could try, but that'd be weird considering we're both streaming to the same channel.
I'm gonna play
We'll just
Tales of
kick each other
Berseria
off.
while I'm playing a D&D
We'll
campaign,
just
and we're
kick each
both
other
gonna
off.
try
Yeah.
to stream to the channel at the same time. That sounds like a wonderful
That
idea.
sounds like an awesome idea. Let's do it. It'll be like a commercial break.
Let's
Like
just see what happens.
every 30 minutes we'll commercial break to Berseria. We'll split screen it. There you go. Okay, Berseria Monday. That sounds good. And as always, StarCraft 2 / whatever else after StarCraft 2 will be happening on Tuesdays. I don't have any obligations for school on Tuesdays. I'll continue as much as possible. If it's not StarCraft 2, I'll probably just play Xenoblade.
Xenoblade, Pog.
So, okay, game news. I know you're really excited about this first bit, which is New World, the game that I got to play once, and they still refuse to give me a key to play their video game. I've pre-ordered the game, and they won't give me the key to play it, but Hectic has not pre-ordered the game, and he has the opportunity to play it. I'm not salty about it at all, I swear to God. Apparently, there was a trailer. An official trailer was released 2 days ago. I can't believe I missed this, by the way. I missed this somehow. And I don't know. I don't even remember where I found it. But somehow I figured out through something else, like an article or something, that this trailer was released. So, for context, New World is an Amazon Studios life-saving game. And it is an MMO game. It used to be a survival game, but they didn't. They decided to pivot and become an MMO game. This MMO game, it's more like a colonial themed game, I think is the best way to put it. There is some like elements of fantasy intertwined into it, but the actual world itself, as you'll probably see and can tell based on this video, there's definitely like this colonial theme happening here, which is kind of the reason why the game was in trouble initially. I talked about that. We talked about it like some time ago. So this is the trailer. I actually haven't watched this trailer. This is the first time I've watched this trailer.
What is Eternum?
And Spoon got Spectrum.
The substance
Oh, thank God,
of
fishing.
legends.
Fishing? What is this, a
The
JRPG?
pulse of
so.
adventure. The glory of triumph. Eternum is life eternal. And death incarnate.
Yeah, so there's, you kind of see, I'm assuming this like theme. Oh, a little spin to win.
Graphics look
What is
pretty nice.
Eternum?
I can't imagine this is the.
The
Some of this looks
fires
like
of
in-game.
destruction.
Like some of this does look in game. I think the graphics have improved since I played. They've improved a little.
Yeah.
Eternum
Yeah, it looks better since
is
I
the
last saw it.
truth behind
better, for
nightmares. What is Eternum? That depends on you.
If you were to ask me what this game is about, I literally couldn't answer it. I can't answer it.
I mean,
don't
it's
know
just
what
like
about.
it's just like a high fantasy MMORPG. I mean, okay.
Yeah, I was just like I don't know much beyond that. Like I really don't know what the story is supposed to be. But they from what I played in the demo, actually it wasn't really a demo. It was like an alpha. We got to play through a significant portion of the game. I was kind of surprised at how much we got to play. But the start of the game is you just get washed out on a beach on this island. That's the start of the game. So it's you're lost at sea type start. This is Amazon Studios' last chance to produce a game that's actually worth noting.
Yeah,
Their
successful.
their other endeavors failed miserably. That is
What was that?
Crucible, I believe it was called.
Yeah, Crucible. That was the one I was thinking
And
of.
there was
Yeah,
a Lord of the Rings MMO that got canceled.
they canned that.
Yep. Which is kind of unfortunate too, because a Lord of the Rings MMO seemingly is a good
Was it?
idea.
I thought there was a Lord of the Rings MMO before, I think,
Mhm.
at one point. I don't remember what it was
Oh,
called.
I'm sure there was. If this doesn't succeed, the studio will dissolve, or they'll pivot. They'll pivot in some way where they're not making games anymore. They just publish. They don't develop anything. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine they want to spend any more money on developing games when all of them just failed miserably. I don't think this game will fail miserably, but my expectations of it are probably lower than Amazon Studios' expectations.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think this will fail miserably either, but I don't think it's gonna be the blockbuster that they want it to be.
I don't think it will either. I think it'll be a solid game though. I am interested in it. I did pre-order it, and I'm keeping the pre-order. I think it looks interesting. The game itself to me, um, I want to say that I'm not going to say like the combat is amazing or anything, but the combat isn't like most MMOs I've played. Um, but I'm not going to say it's like this so much different than any other MMO. Like there's some MMOs where you play like Xenoblade, right? Where you just focus on a target and then your character auto attacks by itself, and then you throw in skills in between there, right? In this game is a bit more dynamic combat. You actually do throw combos and as well as your skills. This again, I'm not gonna say like the combat's amazing or anything, but it was enough of a different experience for me where I was a little bit interested. And the world was pretty cool. The world was pretty cool when I explored it. It was pretty cool. Won't say it's amazing, but it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you had any extra thoughts. I know, like, I'm the one that mostly has been following this particular game.
Yeah, I don't I don't see myself
Yeah.
jumping into this, to be quite honest. I just don't feel like I have the time or particular interest in this game again. It doesn't look bad
Yeah.
to me. It would probably be fun if I played it, but I'm gonna be back in school at that time, and
Yeah.
Humankind is coming out a couple weeks before that, and Tales of Arise is coming out like a week and a half after that. So
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not
there's
gonna fit it. I'm not gonna fit that in like like even in general, like committing to an MMO for me seems. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
you got to spend a lot of time to get the most out of it. So I completely understand. I'll definitely play it and play as much of it as I feel is appropriate. If the game no longer becomes entertaining for me after like 40 hours, which isn't that much in MMO standards, I mean that's just how it is. But I'm hoping that I know like Hectic was somewhat interested in the game. So I'm hoping maybe if I jump in with him, it'll be a little bit more entertaining than just by myself.
Yeah, if you got a couple guys, a couple friends to play with, then
It's okay at least.
it's gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be
Yeah.
more fun with friends
Yeah, of
than
course.
solo. They're not gonna do a like a subscription for this, is there? Or do you
So
know?
you buy the game. You do buy the game. This is not a
Yeah,
subscription. You buy the
yeah.
game,
It's like $60.
and then my guess is they're going to have expansions. Now,
Okay,
that doesn't
they'll probably
mean
be
that.
MT. They'll probably be MTX in the
Yeah,
game
I
too.
I
To be
imagine
honest.
that. I can't imagine there's. Now that doesn't mean they can't just change their mind 6 months down the road. I would actually prefer a game not be a subscription model for an MMO. I don't really want that. I'm not interested in subscription model MMOs, to be honest with you. I just don't want to spend that kind of cost on an MMO. I would much prefer to have something like this where you buy the game and you buy your expansions. I would just much prefer that. While that monetization isn't as lucrative, particularly if the game is popular, I personally would just wholeheartedly really appreciate that. I don't want to pay a subscription for these types of games. I just don't. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to just stick with that. And then you know what? If they throw some microtransactions in there, fine. I'll probably just ignore them unless they're god tier amazing and I really like the game. But I just don't want subscriptions right now. Like I've already got
Yeah.
enough I'm dealing with subscriptions. And
Yeah.
I think
There's
certain
not
certain games that have like I don't hate MMO for having a subscription model, but
Yeah, there's not many games that have gotten away with the subscription model and succeeded. WoW
yeah,
obviously
wow, obviously.
has survived for a very long time with the subscription model. And the only other one that I can think of right now that is quite successful is Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
But it is free up to a point. Like you
Yes.
can play for free up to a certain level, and then
There's
you have to
content.
buy.
Yeah, there's
Then
content.
then you have to buy the expansion, like whatever the expansions are, and then pay
Yes.
for the subscription if you want to access the more like the more premium or the newer
Right.
content.
Right.
Um,
Which I think it works fine. It really does. I'm not saying that's like a bad
and
model as a whole.
I don't know about Elder Scrolls Online. I know that has
Elder
some sort of following, and I don't know if it has a subscription or
I
not.
don't think
So
it does anymore. I think you just buy the expansions and let me check though. Scrolls Online.
but yeah, you've really gotta hit,
Yeah, it's
you
no
know,
subscription.
you've really gotta hit a really good game and get a really good community going to get away with a subscription model,
Right.
basically, because especially you're charging $60 a game, and usually these subscriptions are around $15 a month, like $10 to $15 a month for like this kind of thing.
Which
I don't know
yeah.
what FF14's is, but that's what WoW's was. It was like 13 or 14, maybe 15
Yeah.
bucks a month. So not an inexpensive subscription
Right.
at all. Um,
With WoW, it's worth noting that you can actually just use in-game currency, gold, I think, to buy it, but it's extremely expensive. But it's worth noting that that's an option. I hope that
yeah,
they don't go subscription. I really do. I would
I
just.
don't think I
Mhm.
don't think they can start with it.
No, they
If
can't.
they start on a subscription model, I think they'll scare people away, and
Yep.
it won't succeed.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think starting with $60 upfront purchase, most people are fine with that.
Yeah.
And then seeing how popular it gets, and okay, then they can do expansions. I'm sure they'll have cosmetics and some sorts of microtransactions in the game. Maybe they'll have pay to win microtransactions like XP boosters and stuff like that. Who knows?
I
I
don't
hope
know.
they
Yeah.
don't, but maybe. Um, yeah, we'll see. Again, it doesn't. It. I don't see myself playing it, but it looks like it might be fun. So
Yep. I hope it's just you buy the game, which is it's fine. It was like $50, and then there's some expansions that you pay for.
yep.
That's it. I hope, and again, if there's microtransactions, fine, do it. I don't. It's fine as long as they're not like XP boost, whatever. That's fine. I don't. Okay. The next thing that I've got here, I don't know if you got a chance to read it because I didn't. But I didn't really feel like I needed to because I think this is a total Ubisoft thing to do. Ubisoft says it's changing strategy to focus on more high-end free-to-play games. I do believe this came about because there was an investor call during its full-year earnings call on Tuesday, when it said it intends to be less reliant on AAA releases as part of its overall product mix. A quote here from the chief financial officer: "In line with the evolution of our high-quality lineup that is increasingly diverse," let me zoom in actually, "we are moving on from our prior comment regarding releasing 3 to 4 premium AAAs per year." That was from the CFO, Frederick Duguet.
Probably like Dujay or
Duguet?
Dugay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
because
Yeah, sure.
they're French usually.
Original story. I'm just going to keep going. There was an update, but I'll keep going. I'll get back to the update later. It is indeed no longer a proper indication of our value creation dynamics. For example, our expectation for Just Dance and Riders Republic are consistent with some of the industry's AAA performers. Additionally, we are building high-end free-to-play games to be trending towards AAA ambitions over the long term. This is purely a financial communication evolution. What the fuck does that mean? Can we stop right there? This is purely a financial communication evolution. I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
that's word salad I've never
That's literally
seen.
just saying shit and trying to put it together to sound smart. And doesn't change the fact that we continue to expect a high cadence of content delivery, including powerful premium and free-to-play new release. I'm just trying to. They're just indicating that free-to-play is a larger share of revenue pie, which is true. Let's see. Oh boy. Ubisoft announced plans to expand The Division, which is their looter shooter franchise, with new free to play and mobile games. Oof. Well, there you go. It's a standalone experience for. Okay, it's like. I'm just trying to go through some of this stuff. This is just Division stuff. We can ignore that, right? I see if there's any. So the Far Cry 6. Okay. So it's also worth noting that the Assassin's Creed franchise recorded its strongest sales year to date for the last fiscal year, which was Valhalla, and I imagine some extra continued sales from Odyssey. So, okay, let's just go back to the top. And the update was that Ubisoft has told VGC its free to play push does not mean it will release less premium games. But they said that they're going to move free to play games to like be more like the powerful premium. I guess they're separating those two. Okay. Assuming Spoon that this is true, which I mean, if they put it on an investor call, it's got to there's definitely some traction to it. The main Ubisoft titles that I think most people can immediately jump out to people are, I feel like it's Assassin's Creed, the Tom Clancy franchise, including Rainbow Six Siege, and Far Cry. Watch Dogs is also one of their major franchises, though that
Yep.
one might be going downhill since the last game wasn't as well received as I imagine they would have liked. So, and they have some other franchises that I'm sure are popular, and like extreme sports franchises that we've seen some of their Ubisoft forwards.
Just Dance.
Just Dance. Why did I forget Just Dance? Just Dance is also super
Oh,
popular.
because you and I never play it, but
Just
it's pretty popular, I think,
yeah, it's super
among
popular.
like family game type
Yeah,
thing.
super popular. So, yeah, I guess I'll just get the ball rolling. I'm not shocked at all. Um,
Nope.
I think it's a well-known fact at this point that while free-to-play titles are not guaranteed to be lucrative, when they are lucrative, they are the most lucrative of games. That is that is just it's just a fact. If we look at games that are not free to play, while those do make, of course, they make lots of money, things like that. We all know that Call of Duty outside of Warzone makes tons, right? And other major franchises that are not free to play make huge piles of money. But those free to play games,
Yeah.
whether it's a MOBA or something like Genshin Impact or some of those mobile games, make far more than some of these paid titles. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I don't know the sales of it. I really don't know the sales of it, but I can guarantee you that Genshin Impact made a lot more than AC Valhalla. I can just guarantee that it made a ton more than AC Valhalla did. I can guarantee it. So I'm not surprised at all that this move is happening, and I have no strong feelings one way or the other because I don't think they'll shift the current Assassin's Creed franchise to free to play. I just don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that franchise was built for it. Um, I think they're probably just gonna make more mobile games like they have been, and maybe trying to tailor like a spin-off franchise into that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I can see them making an Assassin's Creed mobile game.
oh yeah, I can.
It's
They
a spin-off game basically, but that one. I mean, I don't think this mean. Okay, it's like okay, it's a headline, but to me, this doesn't mean anything. It's just like, yeah, there's money in mobile and free to play. We know that, so they're gonna make more mobile and free to play games. But this,
yeah,
they didn't say that they were gonna stop making,
yeah, of course.
$60 AAA titles. They just said they're not gonna make as many, which is fair. That it costs a lot of money to make games like that, and maybe that's like okay, Watch Dogs maybe doesn't come back for a while. Maybe that's one of the things
Yeah,
that's gonna take the axe, but I'm sure they're still gonna keep making Assassin's Creed. Again, maybe they're not gonna try and crank it out every year, which I think is a good thing. Like you talked about, you
yep,
said you want them to take a year off after this one from Valhalla,
sure,
and we will likely see at E3 whether they're gonna release one this year or they're taking a year off.
yep.
Um, and Far Cry, what are they on,
They're on
6?
six.
I mean, there was a trailer for that at one of the Ubisoft things last year, so we know
Yes,
that's coming out. I would guess that's gonna come out this year, but
they said
we don't
September
know.
30th. I think it said September
Oh,
30th.
they gave a release date.
They
Okay, I forgot.
did. They did. It
Okay,
was in here. I was
yeah.
reading it.
So that's gonna come out this year. Okay, so again, this to me just doesn't. It just doesn't
Yeah.
mean that much. It's just like okay, they're still gonna have their main franchises. We're probably not gonna see many. You know, kind of like with that Sony thing we talked about. You're probably not gonna see them taking too many flyers on new AAA franchises
Yes.
and like new IPs, but you're gonna see Assassin's Creed, you're gonna see Far Cry, maybe you'll see Watch Dogs again. Just Dance, obviously, since I think that's a big moneymaker for them. And then they're probably gonna be spin-offs and or other things in
Yep.
in the mobile space, free to play, MTX. I mean, yeah, makes sense to me from a fiscal standpoint, which them being a company, they are designed to make money, and yeah, that's how you make money in the
Yep.
gaming industry these days.
It's amazing, but free to play games make cash and lots of it. So again, I have no strong feelings about this. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, makes sense, fine. Just don't screw up the other stuff that you have that's actually decent and that is absolute garbage. Um, so this, I mean, I found this like I want to say a few days ago. I don't remember when exactly. Looks like this was posted May 12th. So, um, so again, recent investor call, and we'll see what those high end free to play games actually are. I'd be very curious to see and to hear what they have to say for E3 as far as some of their other upcoming titles in those franchises, like Assassin's Creed. Okay. This was actually from Try Courage. He posted it in the server. I don't know if we talked about it last week, so I'm just bringing it back. Because he posted on the 6th. So, this article says that Epic Games has spent at least $1 billion on exclusives. This is coming from the Epic and Apple trial has unveiled lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting all this stuff from Epic Games. There's something else too that's Sony related. I don't think we talked about it, but it's worth noting. Sony is the only company of all the like Nintendo and Microsoft. Sony is the only one that charges for crossplay.
Yep.
Why do people like them so much? Like Sony sucks.
Because they don't.
Why?
They don't see the behind. They don't. I mean,
they suck.
They have their issues, but they don't see the behind the scenes stuff. They just see, the PlayStation brand. Like, man, I love their games. I love their exclusives. I love their controller. PS
Sure.
Pluses. I mean, PS Pluses.
It's fine.
The free games are cool. I don't think they should charge for having cloud saves, but whatever. That's part of it.
It's part of it. Yep.
But yeah, no. I mean, I agree with you. Sony is actually kind of bad, but
sucks.
Unfortunately, at least for me, being a JRPG fan, that's where the JRPGs go, is the PlayStation platform. So I'm kind of stuck on that one.
Oh my god, their games are great games, but God, they suck. They really do suck.
Yeah,
they're terrible. But the whole point was that all these different things are coming out because of this Epic v Apple trial, and one of the things is that Epic Games has spent $1 billion on exclusives, which we talked about. Borderlands was a huge chunk of that. But okay, so here's some numbers. As of September 2019, Epic Games had signed up 105 exclusives for the store, amounting to a total of just over $1 billion spent securing them. Again, a good portion of that's Borderlands. I think that's just the brunt of this article. I just want to say I'm not surprised. You pay a heavy price when you try and compete with a big player like Steam. This is the price you pay. You have to be willing to pay that price, and Epic at this point in time is open to paying it. But I don't know how long that they're going to be willing to pay for it. It's worth noting, for the past couple Tuesdays, I have been playing Fortnite with Try Courage and Bree. I think that game is losing player base. I don't know how much. But the amount of times they ask me to invite a friend is way more than any other game I've ever played. I've never played a game that has asked me to invite a friend this much. I don't know how much of the player base is dropping for the game, but I think it's worth noting that potentially there could be a question mark as to how long Epic Games wants to continue to spend this much on their store. So I'm not surprised that they've spent this much, considering how much we know they spent for Borderlands, but I don't know how much longer they're going to want to spend potentially billions of dollars on exclusives.
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on most of the stuff. I'm not sure I have much to add. We talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about specifically Borderlands and how much they had paid for that, which was a hefty chunk of this $1 billion.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they're spending that much. They have been going out there and getting a heck of a lot of exclusives for their store. And yeah, as to your Fortnite comment, I don't know. That may just be a thing that the game does and doesn't have anything to do with a declining player base, or you could be right on the money. I have no idea what that looks like as far as Fortnite, but
yeah. I'd be curious. I mean, I'm sure Fortnite
It's
still has a
still,
massive audience.
yeah, I think it's still pretty tops on Twitch
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, or close
Yeah.
to the top 5 probably. Um, so yeah, I mean, maybe it's dying down a little bit, but I don't think Fortnite's going anywhere anytime soon.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
it's still one of the most, you know, like the popular battle royales are Fortnite, Apex has a following, and Call of Duty probably are the main 3.
Yeah, that's fair to
Warzone.
say. That's fair to say. It's those
So,
three. I mean, if anybody wants to say PUBG, fine, I suppose. But
sure.
it's Apex Legends, Call of Duty.
Yep.
Everybody else is just sort of clinging on to a small player base, as much of a player base as they possibly can latch on to. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how much longer they decide they want to keep spending on exclusives for their store. It makes no difference to
I
me. I
I,
play
I
a
would
lot of
be
free
I
games.
would be curious actually to see how much they paid for Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, that's a
On
good.
Kingdom Hearts, I mean it's PC exclusivity, so it's not like full exclusivity because they've been
Mm-hmm.
on other platforms for a while. But I would be real curious to see how much they paid for Kingdom Hearts. It's a pretty big franchise.
I would. I don't know if they spend as much as Borderlands. The only reason I mention that is Borderlands was officially releasing
Yeah,
at the time they locked that in.
yeah. They didn't get any new game.
Yeah,
They didn't get any
exactly.
new games.
Uh, The whole franchise for Kingdom Hearts has been out, besides Kingdom Hearts 3 for quite some time.
And Melody of
And
Memory.
yeah, Melody Memory. Forgot about that one. I don't know. Probably not as much as Borderlands.
No, I don't think it'd be as much as Borderlands, but if it was 50 million, that wouldn't surprise me
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
no, that wouldn't surprise me at all either. That
Like
would
50 or even
yeah.
100. If it was 100 million, that probably wouldn't surprise me
Oh
either.
yeah,
Like,
somewhere in that range would not be surprising. Yeah, for a franchise like that for sure. Because you're just gonna get players that are interested in the PC crowd as is, and
and
players
the
are gonna
king,
rebuy it.
like almost everyone I know in the Kingdom Hearts community bought the PC version on
Yeah, of
Epic.
course. And
So
you're a huge fan of the game. If you're in that community, you're a huge fan. Why not? You and mods are a thing.
yeah,
Mods are potentially great. So
even though it's like a pain to mod because Epic doesn't have any like built-in modding
yeah, no,
stuff,
they don't.
but
You probably have to
but
go through
people
like
are
Nexus
but
mods.
no, yeah, people are modding it anyways.
Yeah, of course.
So
You go through like Nexus mods or something. Um, yeah, I mean it's just yeah, we'll see how much longer Epic decides to do this. Any other
yep.
thoughts before moving to Scarlet
No,
Nexus? Okay.
let's move on.
Scarlet Nexus demo. So Scarlet Nexus is I guess it's a JRPG
It,
with the
it's an
heavy
action.
emphasis action. Yeah.
It's an action RPG. Yeah.
Um it I mean I watching the gameplay of it, it looked very cool, I will say. And the demo, play the demo first on Xbox when it arrives May 21st. I don't know if that means like only on Xbox. See, this is the thing about this game. It's very confusing. It's very clear that Microsoft has paid to get
For some
all the
yeah,
exclusive
the
advertising.
advertisement.
Yeah.
The game is not exclusive to Xbox though.
Yeah.
And this to me means that the demo will be out first on Xbox, but it will eventually be out on the other platforms. But if you want to play it the day the demo comes out, you have to play it on Xbox.
Yeah. So like I again, like I can't tell if this is like, oh, it is only demos only on Xbox, or this is like one of those things where it's okay, no, it's actually both, but they just skew all their advertising to Xbox because Microsoft obviously paid for that. Um I yeah, I can't tell. Really can't tell. So we'll see. But yeah, the demo should be fun. Demo should be fun. May 21st, so next Friday?
Friday.
Next Friday?
Next Friday.
I'll definitely check that out for sure. This is an interesting game. The gameplay of it is selling me more as I watch some videos of it. So I'll definitely be playing this thing, or at least the demo.
Yep. I'll probably check out the demo as well. I'm definitely interested
Yeah.
in this game. There was a preview on it of it on IGN a
Mhm.
couple of days ago, I think, that had mostly good things to say. They said they liked the gameplay, they liked the characters, thought the environments and like some of the other stuff was kind of drab, but other than that,
Yeah.
like seems pretty solid
Okay.
so far.
Okay. I mean, mostly positive things is good. Mostly positive things is good. So yeah, this we should hopefully follow up on this next Friday and see if it literally is only Xbox that gets the demo. We should follow up on that.
Yeah, again, I
Interesting.
think I again, this to me means that Xbox will get the demo first on that day,
Mm-hmm.
and then the demo will come out whenever, sometime later. I don't know if it's a week, 2 weeks, whatever, a few days, then the other platforms will get it.
That would make
Ye-
sense.
Maybe it'll just be like the Xbox gets the demo for the weekend, and then the demo comes out on everything else on like Monday or Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Isn't the game post-apocalyptic? Yeah, I think if it at least looks like it
Well,
when you see the
it
game.
is. I guess drab wasn't the right word, but just like samey and like uninteresting,
Okay.
and I don't remember what they said. Read the IGN article if you want to see them complain.
Okay.
But again, they mostly had good things to say. They had a few minor, very minor criticisms about
Okay.
it, but game seems good.
Yep. I mean, that's good. Like I said, I'm like, whether the demo comes out only for Xbox or for both, it honestly doesn't make a huge difference for us. But
Nope.
it's just interesting to see. Okay, obviously Microsoft paid for these advertisements, so it's just interesting to see like what's going on. Okay, the last thing I've got here is Marvel's Avengers related.
We're back. We're back.
I
Marvel's
just like
Avengers.
I don't understand it. Somehow they screwed it up. It was amazing how they did too. So, according to their roadmap, we are now in their Red Room takeover event. I don't know anything about this, by the way. So, if I'm wrong about it, I'm sorry. So, there were some skins that came out for the Red Room takeover event, and the skins were not received particularly well because you could only the Red Room outfits could only be purchased in the game's marketplace. Couldn't get them as a reward. There was no way to earn them, was my understanding. So you're defeating all these. It seems like let me just read the article. The event tasked players with defeating hordes of the game's synthoid enemies, which are incredibly boring, so don't ask about them, in order to collect protocol chips, a resource that unlocks special event-specific animated nameplates for the game's heroes. The Ruskaya protocols also saw the addition of a new matching costume set for the Avengers called the Red Room Outfits to the game's marketplace. So this is the problem. This is the problem that people were having. So numerous players have spoken out about the game's event. The significant backlash against the event has resulted from the fact that the Red Room Outfits set, specifically added to match the theme of the event, is available for purchase from the game's marketplace rather than acting as a reward for participation. Participation in the event instead rewards the players with a nameplate, cosmetic items which appear on the menu screen. It's a cosmetic item that appears on the menu screen, with other character-specific nameplates also buyable in the marketplace. The price tag for the skins, $14 for a single skin, with little opportunity to earn them through gameplay. That is a single skin. Single.
I mean, that's not the most absurd price I've ever heard for a skin. It's not good, but
It's not. It's not. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So eight character skins. So if you want to get the whole set, you just multiply 14 by 8. The reason why Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
why did they put these like this? Like, I mean, I like the red and black color palette, like that. I really generally like that color palette very much. But why'd they put it on a red and black background? Like, contrast it so I can see what the freaking skin actually looks like.
I think I know why. Because it looks like ass, and they don't want
Okay.
something that looks good.
Yeah, got it.
So, oh, by the way, if they had put this in any other background that actually, worked well, like for the colors, this would look great. But it's red, black, red, black. Also, Hulk's literally is just his pants. I guess Hulk himself is like a black color. So I guess there's that. But
I mean, yeah,
I,
doing skins for Hulk is kind of like I don't know what you
here's
do.
here's what I think. I think that I agree with the players, but if there was any sort of compromise, what I would say is the compromise is, you know, if you must force players to purchase skins, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the universe in in every case, but like this event, this skin is clearly made for this event. Very clearly made for this event. And this is a big event. It's part of their roadmap. It's going to be the content for the next month and a half for these players, I would imagine. Why not just give
Yeah,
them
all 12.
1, 2 of the skins for free? Just say, okay, you can pick one of the skins for free. Like, just give them one. I mean, like, why couldn't you do that? Why couldn't you just say, okay, look, if you do this whole thing, if you complete the quest line, we'll give you at least one of them for free. All the other ones you pay for. That's like my confusion. Is it feels like sometimes, and this is obviously not the developer, it's Square Enix. Um, why not just have it be like one? You get one. Or why can't these particular skins be earned a different way? That's like maybe more involved. You gotta like do some other stuff besides this Red Room event. I don't know, but it seems weird that's like, okay, you have this cast of 8 characters. Why not let the players, if they complete the event, you just say, okay, hey, we'll give you one of the skins for free for one of the characters, maybe your favorite character that you like, but if you want the other ones, you got to pay for them. Why? That's like a compromise. Why is it that we can't get a compromise option? We either get one or the other. And in this case, they went to the other extreme, which is, look, you got to buy all of them. There's no access to them other
Yeah,
than that. Why can't there be any sort of compromise ever? Just say, okay,
yeah,
one. You can have one. Like,
yeah.
okay,
It would be
fine.
nice to get one, or like have a way to earn them through playing in some way, even if it took a crap ton of grinding, or maybe at least like a discount towards buying them. Like if you complete the event or if you play the event, I don't know.
I don't know.
Credit, I don't know, something. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but the problem is, this game has like 20 players still left playing it,
That's true.
and this game lost a hell of a lot of money for Square Enix, and they're trying to find a way to squeeze a little more money out of it. So, sorry if you still play this game, but yeah, rip. I don't know.
And the thing is, like, people are saying Crystal Dynamics, Crystal Dynamics. This isn't a Crystal Dynamics choice. Crystal
No,
Dynamics
that's
doesn't make these choices. This is
to
Square
Square
Enix.
Enix.
I I I gotta be honest. Like, I think sometimes or at least I do this too. The developer doesn't set a price tag. Somebody
No, they
else
don't.
sets it for them and says, "Okay, please make it this," and then they say, "Okay, we'll make it that if that's what you're telling us to do." So don't say Crystal Dynamics, what are you doing? Say Square Enix, what are you doing? Because that's not necessarily fair to Crystal Dynamics. Um, but again, I personally don't get why there isn't a compromise option of like, okay, maybe like you get one of these skins for your favorite character, and if you want to get all the other ones, either you pay or maybe there's some other path. I just I don't really get it. It's also confusing to me that they did it this way too. Like, I know why Square wanted to make people pay for all the skins because they desperately need to get that money back. But you're already bleeding tons of players. Why would you make decisions like this that would put in
Push more,
jeopardy your
yeah,
player
push
count?
more people away.
You're gonna push more people away. I it's really stupid. It's a really stupid decision, which is unfortunate because the people that do enjoy this game, I'm sure, are scratching their head, thinking, "Do you want me to leave?" I'm sure they're like, "Do you want us to leave? Like, we actually like your game. Why do you make it? Why are you punishing us for that?" It's like when Bethesda banned the guy that had like 900 hours in Fallout 76.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, why are you punishing me for playing your video game? I don't get it. So, any other thoughts here for this?
Nope, just waiting for them to finally axe Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, I think some of these look pretty cool. I wish it wasn't on this background, but
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that red and black background on the red and black skins. It
yeah,
looks stupid.
I wish
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean, I just
something
can't
else
tell what the skins look like.
for sure. I'm just like looking at this, like, where's the other? This is this supposed to be Captain America here? By the way, he looks like Cyclops from X-Men. Why does it look like Cyclops from X-Men?
I don't know,
I
dude.
don't. This is like the first thing I noticed. I'm like, this is supposed to be Captain America, right? Like all the other ones, I can kind of picture, right? Um,
Yeah, I see the rest.
I'm I'm just gonna assume this is Black Widow on the way all the way over here,
Yeah.
and Hawkeye here. Like all the other ones, I can kind of like pick out. Why the fuck does he look like Cyclops? He's got like this weird thing. I'm sorry, I'm focusing too much on this, but this is what's making me frustrated about this game. It's like this wasn't hard. You didn't have to. That shouldn't have been hard. Put a star on his chest or something, so it's obvious it's Captain America. It looks like Cyclops from X-Men. It's bothering me. So this is like I think the Iron Man suit looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the Iron Man one's good.
Okay. Let's hop over to our other overlay because that's all the news.
That's all, folks.
That's all.
for
That's
the news.
all the news. That's all we've got for news this week. So, a couple other things that are worth mentioning if I can find my mouse cursor. I'll just take the stage for this one. You don't have to make too many comments for it if you don't feel like it, but I'm not going to take too much. Destiny 2 had a new season. I am under an obligation to mention this. I was playing it earlier on stream, and apparently it's a fun game. Some people kind of like it. I don't know. I don't understand, but apparently people like it. It had a new season a couple days ago, and there's a raid May 22nd, so next Saturday. It is a raid that was in Destiny 1. It's called Vault of Glass. I mean, new season in Destiny, you get lots of new content. If you understand the lore, which I don't, it's pretty fun. And I think the last thing I was going to mention is that I'll be doing the raid with some people who I think we're going to do the 24-hour challenge thing again. It'll be a little bit different, I think. There's like 2 things you have to do this time. But if anybody's interested, I mean, I'll consider streaming it if I'm able. But last time what we ended up doing was we like played for several hours, like 3 to 4 hours, and then we took like a short break for like work or if we wanted to get food, and we just like did it that way. So it should be fun. The new season should be pretty entertaining if you're a big fan of the lore, and I'm sure that's really exciting. For me, I just want to shoot things, so that's kind of how it works for me. And then the other thing that's worth noting, which I didn't personally put in the news as an article or anything because we mentioned it before, but the Mass Effect Legendary Edition releases tomorrow. It is the first 3 Mass Effect games, and for those of you that haven't played the series, it's a wonderful RPG series where you shoot some guns, you kiss a few aliens, and apparently there's like some robots that come from another galaxy that try to kill everybody. And in the end, you get to meet Space Jesus. So now that I've spoiled that for you, you'll be less disappointed when you get there. Let's see.
0 out of 10, not enough Miranda, but
it's just like, oh yeah, I forgot. You shoot some guns, you kiss some aliens, you see Miranda's ass, and you get to meet Space Jesus. It's all fun and games. It's all fun. So that's dropping tomorrow. I'm excited for it. I did pre-order it, and I'll be playing it at some point. I don't actually know when specifically, but I'll play it. I think it'll be really fun. Mass Effect 1. I'm really excited about Mass Effect 1. That's the only one I'm really excited about, to be honest with you, because I want to see all the changes that they made. I'm very curious about the boss fights in particular. That's all I wanted to. I'm excited for that one. The other ones, whatever. I'm excited for that one.
2's a great game.
2 is a great game, but I know they didn't make as many changes as Mass Effect 1. So
No, I mean they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't have to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But Mass Effect 1, they made changes, and I'm excited. I'll give you something to shoot. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to respond there. But
He's
yeah, those
talking to me.
oh really? Oh my.
Hmm.
Okay. Um Spoon, any thoughts regarding Destiny 2? If I don't think you have anything to say for that, to be honest with you, and that's not me being
I don't have
toxic.
anything to say about
There
Destiny
you go.
2.
Neither do I, so we're in the same boat. And then Mass Effect, any thoughts for that in particular?
Um, I mean, yeah, I think we talked about it mostly a little bit. I'm excited to see what they did with Mass Effect 1 as well. That game definitely could have used some touch-ups.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a great series. I have my gripes with it, especially 3 with the story, but
Yeah, of course.
the series is fun. And yeah, it's worth playing if you haven't played it. And 3 for 1 with all the DLC for all the games is very much worth it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, Mass Effect 2 is still, up there on, it's one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
It's up there. Um, and Mass Effect 1, in my opinion, had the best story of the 3. The gameplay was just a little clunky in places.
For sure.
Sounds like they've touched that up. We'll see how much they actually improved it when we play it. But yeah, I don't think I may get it eventually, the Legendary Edition, but I'm not getting it tomorrow. That's for sure.
Sure.
Um,
For sure. Okay. So, Spoon, I'm looking at my Google Doc and I have nothing for now.
yeah, you're
So,
out.
I'm out of things to say.
You're out of things to say. That's unfortunate.
Oh, really? Oh my goodness. Okay, well let me figure some things out to say then.
No, well, I have a.
Oh, you do. Okay, go ahead.
This is not necessarily a discussion topic or a game news thing
Go
or
ahead.
anything like that.
Okay.
But well, maybe you've been noticing Megan in the chat making these sort of comments at me.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, we're a thing, I should say.
Go on.
I mean, we're dating, I guess you could say. I mean, I haven't actually met her yet in person, obviously, but she is going to come down and visit next weekend.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
This changes everything.
does it?
This everything changes now. Everything changes now. I'm so interested in this. I want to say I've been sensing something. I've been sensing something. But I didn't say anything yet, but I've been sensing it, and I'm glad that you finally illuminated me on it. But I have been sensing it. So next weekend is when it's when the actual face to face happens.
Yep.
Oh boy, I'm I'm intrigued. I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Very happy. Good.
She did most of the work, to be
Oh,
honest.
really? Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I'm a wuss, to be quite honest. Like,
I mean, you've told me about this, So I mean, it's good. It's like it's good. It's all good. I'm happy for you, buddy, as I always am when good things happen, of course. And next weekend, I need we'll have girl time, you and I, and you can share. We'll have share time. We'll have share time
okay.
in the hot tub, and we'll stream it. We'll have a hot tub stream and so, but yeah, like I said, it's very cool. And for Megan, I mean, obviously, that's good too. So, can I ask one last question? When was it official?
Last Thursday.
Last Thursday. My God.
Yes, a week ago.
Last Thursday.
It actually it was kind of prompted by the podcast.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, because well, yeah, she was. I don't know. I think she was kind of taking it slow and seeing like if I was interested or where it was. She was, she was being, like flirtatious with me, but not being outright about it.
Sure.
And then after on the podcast at the end last week, I mentioned that I was going back to Grenada at the end in August.
Yes.
It kind of like freaked her out, so she
Oh.
she just went in after that.
She went
So
for it. She went
yeah,
for it.
she went for
And
it.
you said yes. Okay,
I sure
got
did.
it. Okay, good. Okay. I mean, like, Megan, you made the right choice. That was the right approach as someone who's talked to Spoon about these things. Last time we talked about this was like in fucking college, I imagine. That was the right approach. You got to play you play cat and mouse with Spoon. Spoon's obviously the mouse. So, you got to play that game, and you caught him.
No,
good job.
No, you don't play cat and mouse with Spoon. You just tell Spoon how you feel, and
It's very simple, actually.
that's it.
Actually,
Because
it's really fucking simple.
I'm a dense motherfucker. Like, I'm not gonna get it. Or actually, no. Here's what happens. I'll get it, and then I'll be like, maybe she likes me. And then I like think about it too much, and I overthink it because I'm a very like logical person, and I think about things too much, and then I convince myself that like it's not a thing, or that like I should do something about it, but then I'm too much of a wuss, so I convince myself it's not a thing, so I don't have to do anything about it.
Yep.
That's how my brain works, and it's really terrible, but
doesn't it suck being a man sometimes? It sucks sometimes. It really does suck sometimes. For those of you that get infuriated when we don't notice when we don't notice things.
Yeah, we're dumb. We're dumb.
We don't get to be wow, holy shit. Okay. I'm sensing more. I'm excited. This is exciting actually. Now that I'm sensing all this stuff, this is exciting. This should be an interesting thing. I'm hoping for the best, obviously, and I definitely am more curious now. So I'm happy. That's all I have to say. I'm happy, and I only hope for good things.
Yep.
Not a mean person. So, also, hey Vis, did you hear earlier? I gave a Destiny 2 spiel. I talked about the game for about 2 minutes. I did it justice. So, okay. Hey man, that was a big one. Good. Just again, congrats, claps all around for both.
Thanks, bud.
Spoon and Megan. This times 2, claps all around. Congrats. What else? Okay. So, no, I'm gonna save it. No, I'm gonna save that. I think that's a little too far. I was gonna save it. It was just a Gundam Seed joke, but I'm saving it. I'm tucking that back into my pocket, and I'm tucking it back in there. So, so I've been, it's. I don't know if anybody here has had this recently. So this week I started playing basketball again because obviously things are opening up, and I felt like it's a good time to try and play basketball again. And I haven't played in over a year. It's been about a year and a half. And I haven't done any serious physical activity in like, I want to say, before like this past 2 weeks, again over a while. It's been a while, like multiple months. So when you try and play basketball, or really anything that requires a good amount of quickness or just general endurance, it kind of sucks. I want to point that out. I've never been more sore in my life, and I was just like, my legs are in constant pain, and my back is in pain.
You just regretted everything afterwards. Pretty much.
I enjoyed it a lot because I hadn't played basketball in a long time, and there was a point where I actually just stopped enjoying basketball as much. But I did like playing this week. It was good. So I'll definitely be going back. And there's like this pickup group with some folks who they're not amazing at the game, so it's like a nice rehab for me to get back into basketball. That was my thing this week. I'm just like, I'm sore. My legs are sore. My back is sore. It's been rough, but That's like that's been this week other than classes. Trying to play basketball
Yeah.
again. That's
Well,
my
yeah,
week.
and you went to Tahoe. Yeah, I mean my week has been
Studying, I imagine.
studying and then like spending time with Megan, basically talking to her on Discord.
Oh,
So
got it.
that's been my week. I haven't played a video game actually in a number of days.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. But I honestly I kind of expected that from all the studying. But
Yeah.
but still. Um what else? What else? What else?
I mean, you played a little bit of
I
Xenoblade.
did.
You've completed chapter 7 at this point, which is probably the
Nice.
heaviest story chapter up to this point.
Yeah, it was a good chapter. I really liked it. It was a great chapter. I the dungeon was the beginning of that chapter, we'll say. The dungeon was not great, like the dungeon itself, but the story was great. The character stuff was great. And then afterwards trying to save Pyra and Mithra. Okay, my opinion of them has improved slightly, but I still think they're kind of boring. Um but my opinion has changed slightly in favor. In favor. Um but I still think that there are the I I understand that this chapter in particular was like a really heavy Rex chapter, Nia chapter, and obviously at the end Pyra and Mithra got sprinkled in there at the end, right? I understand that. So, that was to be expected. I do wish there was a bit more from Morag and in particular. There really wasn't that much. It was like very little. Zeke did have some in the dungeon.
Oh,
He did
yep.
have some in the dungeon. I wasn't really like I didn't care too much for that, but like I wish Morag had a little bit more. She had her moment, some time ago. So that's not like I didn't care too much, but I wish there was more from her than like the little bits and pieces that were in there. But I understand this was like Rex, Nia, Pyra, Mithra. This was their chapter. So um I'm not gonna be too sore about the other characters not jumping in more. I I have a sneaking suspicion that Malice is not the main villain, nor is Jin. There's somebody else. Usually with these kinds of games, there's like the puppet master that he's got the strings. He or she, I should say, he or she's got the strings, and they're making things happen. My sense is that it's not Jin and Malos. It's not Malice because Malice is a brick. Jin could be theoretically. I think I understand his motivations, but I think there's somebody else. I think like I my suspicion is Amalthus is doing something, and he's like the puppet master. I would be pleasantly surprised if it wasn't him, but I would still be disappointed that it was just Jin. Um, Malos is one of the most boring villains I've ever experienced in my life. If you replaced him with a brick, I wouldn't know. I'd be like, okay, cool, the brick. I think he's boring. He sucks. He sucks, frankly, as a villain. He's basically just the other side of the coin for the other Aegis, and he sucks.
Yeah, he's
There's
just
that. He just sucks. But he's a very, I don't want to say JRPG villain because that's not appropriate way to say it. But he's a very I'm bad. I'm a bad person.
He's just evil dude who
Right.
wants to destroy the world because he's evil. He just hates the world and everything that's in it. It's just like, all right. I mean, I was like, I am the evil Aegis, so I must do evil things. Let's destroy the world.
Right. He's like, I gotta destroy the world because that's my purpose. And you're like, okay, whatever. You just kind of roll your eyes, say, okay, let's beat you up.
Yeah, I'll be on. I mean, you haven't finished the game yet, but like with the exception of Jin, to be honest, I don't really like the villains in this game in general. I don't think they're great. They're like fine, but they're nothing special.
The Torna in particular, besides Jin, are very quirky. Jin at least has some kind of there's still mystery. You're very much throughout the game trying to understand his motivations, and at this point you kind of get a sneaking, you get a sense of it based on certain imagery you've seen, like the woman that he's with in his flashbacks, and then you see the woman in some kind of like, I don't want to say it's ice, but some kind of like maybe like a she's in like this suspended state.
Yeah,
Something like that.
crystal
whatever.
eyes.
Yeah,
I mean,
crystallized thing. Yeah. You're kind of thinking, okay, maybe she died and he wants to bring her back to life. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's like somehow they can take her consciousness and transfer it to somebody else. Who knows? So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards thinking about, but at the same time, I don't want to jump to too much of a conclusion. I think the mystery surrounding him and his motivations is enough for me to stay interested in his particular villainous ways. But everybody else, the rest of the Torna are just quirky, and Malos is Dr. Meanbad. There's really not much else to say about them. The Pyra Mithra thing, I wasn't too surprised at what was revealed. Not like the third sword thing in their combined state. That was obviously a surprise for me. But I guess it's a spoiler if I say this.
this game has been out for 4 years. Go ahead.
I guess it's a spoiler. So if you
spoiler alert.
If you care, you should mute because I've probably already spoiled a couple things already for you. But the fact that like Pyra and Mithra were like, yeah, we should just not exist because our existence like could be either a problem or they just don't feel like they should exist. They'd rather just be dead. I won't say I'm too surprised based on some of the things that have already been said and shown in the game, like with some of the flashbacks of Pyra being like, oh, I think they'd just be better off if we were not there. Not too surprising, but it's still like a good character moment for I
mean,
guess, Rex
it's kind of a like
and
it's a. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it didn't quite do it for you, but I think it's a hard hitting thing. It's a hard hitting issue. They're like Pyra and Mithra are like very depressed and they are suicidal. Like they don't want to live anymore.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's what I was saying is like they would rather just be dead. So yeah, of course it's like of course that's a big deal in the context of anything, even in real life, of course. So it is a big deal, and I'm not surprised that was how that came to be because of some of the things that were said earlier in the game. So my soda just fell. So again, I'm not. It was like the moment itself was like her overcoming. I'm gonna say her, but what I mean is both of them because it's both of them are.
I mean, they're the same person. They're just like two sides of the personality.
Two sides
basically.
of the person. You get two different personalities from the person. Obviously, the moment's a big deal for them to have overcome their depression, as you put it.
Well,
as a part of being, they're sort of like getting to overcome that with Rex because they're Rex is like their beacon of hope, I guess.
And you see why, by the way, even though Rex is a very like boring stock standard anime protagonist, why this game needs Rex as its protagonist.
Oh, they absolutely do. If Pyra and Mithra are the way that they are, you need Rex to be your main character.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason that Rex is the way that he is. And I know he's an anime trope. His character is an anime trope, and it's very boring. Right. But the way Pyra and Mithra are written, Rex has to be that character.
He has to be this way. He can't be any other thing other than lawful good. He can't be because that's what Pyra and Mithra need. That's what Mithra needs. It's what Pyra needs. So, it makes sense. It was a good moment. I'm not taking away from the moment, not being a good moment. It's like the whole part of the game, everything was leading up to this moment that he's been through and trying to. Can I just be real though a little bit? Like he was like, I finally understand what it means and all that, and he's like, I have to stop. Basically, his thing was right. I have to stop. Necessarily thinking more of myself and thinking a little bit less selfishly and like thinking for them and trying to understand their feelings. Was that was kind of like part of his realization?
Yeah,
which is like I'm trying to understand their feelings. Was the realization. So it was, if that was the case, I'm just trying to make sure that I
Yeah,
was right
no,
there. Okay.
that was part of it.
Okay. Then that was good. It's good. So, I mean, all that together in that particular sequence, getting to that point, all was good. That chapter was really good. It was a lot of things that were sort of under the rug early
Yep.
on in the game that were being
They've
constantly
been
swept under the
lot of
rug.
things that have been cooking for a long
Right.
time in this game come
They
out
slow
in
cooked
this
it.
chapter.
They
Yeah,
got the slow cooker
yeah,
out, and they
yeah.
were
They
just
sure
like,
did. 45 hours slow cooker.
they cooked it for like 50, 45, 50 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think there's two sides of this that I want to point out, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, for the people that like get to that point, it's like, wow, what a fulfilling 45 to 50 hours to get to there. And it like, it's like this amazing moment, as you I think you feel that way. You're like, oh wow, what an amazing moment. All this play that I've been doing over X number of days, weeks, months, whatever it is. What a huge moment. Which is true. It's a big moment. I wish it didn't happen 45 to 50 hours into the game, but it's a good moment. I kind of wish it happened about 30 hours into. But given the
Okay.
context of the game and seeing how it's probably going to be like a 60-hour game plus for most people, maybe even more, that's 100% fine. I think. But for me, I was like, I kind of wish it had happened earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm not sore about it at all.
Yeah. You kind of been like wanting it or waiting for it for a while.
I've
and
been
it's
kind of
like, okay,
waiting for this for a lot longer.
like the last couple of chapters, like, all right, come on, get to the point.
There are definitely some chapters now that I'm thinking back at them. I'm like, man, this chapter didn't have to be here, or parts of it didn't have to be here for this. I can see why people didn't like chapter 4, because if that didn't exist, I don't think anything would have changed really, besides the fact that it's like the realization of, oh, they're using these artificial blades. The Torna's using artificial blades again. I think the game should have been shorter overall, is my point. Like, chapter 4 didn't have to exist. I liked it because it was Tora, and I like Tora because I think he's funny. And I think
And all, like, More Ordain's a cool place, and like
it's a cool place.
The music in More Ordain's really good too.
Yeah.
I mean, but
you need some of the context of More Ordain for sure, absolutely. But that whole chapter didn't have to exist.
Nope, it could have been much shorter.
Definitely, it could have been far shorter. There are just like certain parts of the game that I'm like, this doesn't have to be here. The only reason they're there is to sprinkle in a few nuggets of information, but those could have been sprinkled in different ways to make it.
That part at the beginning of I think it's the beginning of chapter 6 with where Banna comes back with the super mecha.
Didn't have to be there.
That could have been literally removed from the game. And
the only reason it was there was to show to have the Emperor attempt to sacrifice himself to help with the peace treaty between them and Uriah, right? It was like
foreshadow, and then foreshadow the Nia thing that they're going to show you in a couple of hours.
That was also the other thing.
Next chapter.
It was a foreshadowing, but that entire sequence didn't have to be there, to be honest. Small nuggets of information were why I was there. Can I circle back actually? Now that I'm thinking about it, the whole Torna trying to get a war to break out. Essentially, that was like what it was, right? They like captured a more ordained Titan that was a siege weapon. Can I say siege weapon? I think that's an appropriate term for it. And they blasted some Uriah ships to try and cause a war. That had to be the main thing, right? You're trying to cause a conflict. Yep. So you're trying to cause this conflict, which brought the two sides together, and that's where we got to that part, by the way, with the Emperor sacrificing himself. That's where Banana Man came in, and I think the main purpose of that sequence was just to introduce us to Indoline, the Praetorium, right? What's it called?
Indolin Praetorium.
Yeah, Indolin Praetorium. I think that was like the only reason that was there, right? Did we get introduced to that because Amalthus is like trying to conduct these peace talks, and That's like kind of what it was there for. But I'm trying to think back to it. And it was for him, and also the presence of Mithra was to help with the peace talks, as I recall. She was there, and it was like, okay, we have the Aegis here. Let's try and talk and make things. Let's try and make sure that we have peace between our two parties. And eventually, we get to the Banana Man and then the sacrifice. My question is, there was one part at the very end with the Uriah Queen or Empress. I don't know what her title was.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't seem like she was like, oh, I don't feel like that was genuine. What was happening? Maybe they did that for some other ulterior motive. What was the point of all that? That's my question. I can see like certain pieces of it. Like, okay, we're introduced to Amalthus. We're starting to understand Chairman Bond, not Banana Man. I'm saying Chairman Bond, whatever his name is. I just
Banna.
Chairman
Banna.
I just say banana because banana. My question is like, what's the purpose of like the whole sequence besides the fact that like the Torna are trying to cause some kind of conflict, but I'm not sure what actually benefited. I'm not sure what the benefit for them was of that, besides trying to create a war. Like, I'm just not super understanding of what that whole sequence was trying to teach us. Besides, Amalthus is here, the Indoline Praetorium is this like religious body, and he happens to have the ability to I don't want to say control, but he can like use core crystals in a certain way that is suspicious. I'm not sure what that war was. Like that whole thing was. What was the point of that? That's the only thing I don't get right now. That is my only confusion. And if somebody could illuminate me, I'd really appreciate it, because that was like a whole chapter of stuff, and I don't really get the point of it.
It was part of a chapter. The first half of that chapter was Leftheria. You're in Leftheria. You go through all of
Right.
Leftheria, and you get to Rex's village.
Yeah.
And then you go to Indal. You go to Indal after
and then you
that.
go to Indal after that, and then there's the Torna thing, where they try and start this war. So okay, fine, half a chapter. I was wrong. But what was the point of the whole?
But it's the main crux of the story in that chapter. Because honestly, as cool and as beautiful as Leftheria is, like nothing of value happens there.
No, nothing happens there.
It's just like you just go through this area.
Hold on. The Pyra thing does happen there.
Yeah.
She discusses. Okay, maybe I'd just rather be dead. We'll just go with that.
That was some foreshadowing to Pyra's suicidal nature.
Sure. Again, that's the big thing that happened there. But I'm still not sure. I don't understand that part. I'm super confused.
But yeah, I don't remember what the point of the war is. Maybe it'll come back later. I honestly don't remember. It's been too long.
I hope it does. I hope it does, because that's the only thing that confuses me. And if it does get cleared up, I will completely forego everything I'm saying here. But if that's not cleared up, I want to be like super clear that like that's just like a weird thing. Like that's just it feels like something tacked on to make the game longer.
Yeah, it's like, why is this here?
Well, there's nuggets in there that I do think are really important. There is stuff in there that I do think is important.
Yeah, like you need to meet Amalthus and like
you have
talk to him and stuff like that. He's important. He's an important character.
And if that's the catalyst to meet Amalthus, fine, sure, why not? And for like the Emperor to do the sacrificial act, and for Nia to rescue him, and then for Morak to finally talk with brother and make the decision to join the party. Okay, fine. If that's the nuggets of information we needed from that, sure. Okay. And if the catalyst of that, if the cause of all that was supposed to be this near act of war, then I guess that's what we're going to legitimize that. But that's like a really big thing to occur, and then just to sort of get swept under.
Yeah.
And I wish that wasn't the cause. I wish the cause was something different. I wish it was a different thing. Or I wish that whole sequence, like I I'm sure. I'm hoping there's some stuff in there that will get illuminated. My guess is probably not though, because at this point we're kind of at the point of the game where we're kind of past those kinds of trivial things, and I say trivial because I don't think Malos or Jin care about that shit. I just don't think they do. That's like far beyond anything they really need to care about. Especially if Amalthus is the one, the puppeteer person. He shouldn't.
I
He
mean,
really doesn't care.
yeah, you could say that, maybe it was obviously they obviously have like a bigger plan and like a backup plan, but Jin and Malos are saying okay, they want to destroy the world or they want to wipe out humanity.
Maybe
So
that was an attempt.
I mean, if it was at least a partial attempt, like okay, if we cause a war between like the two largest nations, like that's gonna kill a lot of people. So okay,
That'll okay. That could be like a world destroying act. Okay,
it wouldn't do it by itself, but it would
Yeah.
be a start.
sure. Okay, then I'll buy that. Then I'll buy that. It was an attempt to cause their goals to come to fruition, which we didn't know at the time. But like, I guess you could have started to make assumptions. That then, if that's the case, then that would clear that up. That would clear that up for me.
Yeah,
Um,
again, that's the only thing I can think of at this point, and I don't remember if they talk about it again later in the game.
right.
I don't.
Yeah. The only reason I mention these things is because, like, to be honest, I wish games weren't so long. Particular these like heavy story driven games. Like for me personally, for everybody else, it's fine. I'm sure. But for me
Well,
personally,
not everybody else, but for a certain subset of people like me and Ghost, we like these
yeah.
long
For
games.
other
So
people, sure, why not? If your cup of tea is a really long experience, again, I'm not gonna say it because it's a preference. There's nothing wrong with it unless it's like dangerous. But in this case, nothing's gonna come from it that's gonna harm anybody. But I do wish it was shorter. I do. I generally like shorter games.
yep,
That's just my
I know you
preference.
do.
It's the reason why I like Mass Effect games. Mass Effect games are not long games unless you want to put in the extra time to make them really like much longer. But for the
Man,
most part,
even in like
you could finish a Mass Effect game in like 30 to 40 hours.
I was gonna
Realistically.
say, like, even in Mass Effect 2, I feel like I did everything in that game and it was still like 30 hours
Yeah,
maybe. Like it wasn't that long. I did almost
sure.
everything.
That's my preference for a story experience. If just speaking on story experiences, like Destiny 2, for me, Destiny 2 is not a story experience, so I don't care if it's like hundreds of hours long. That's not a story experience for me. For some other people, it is, so that's different. But for me, a game like Destiny is not a story experience for me. If I get some story, whatever, if I wish to follow it. But for me, Destiny is just like it's a fun shooter game I can play with some friends, and like
Yep.
just yeah, I knew Tricourage. I was kind of waiting for him to get annoyed with
Please,
me. I was waiting
your
for him to get annoyed
story,
with me.
your story has to
Uh
be in
oh.
the game
Uh
for you
oh.
to have
Uh
a
oh. Oh
story.
boy. Oh boy.
Fuck off, Try.
Oh my goodness. At some point I knew I was going to annoy Try, so I was kind of waiting for that. But yeah, I just my preference is shorter games. That's just who I am. And unfortunately, actually, Tales games aren't super ultra long beasts. Usually, like Tales of Zillia 1 and 2 were like 40 to 50 hours, I want to say.
30.
Um,
Like Xillia 1 is kind of short. It's
it
like
is.
between 30 and 40 or right around
Yeah,
40.
that's probably
Like
why I liked it so much. I was like, man, this is much shorter. This is much shorter. But for me, it's just for a story experience, I don't necessarily want something super. Um, and if there's a
I
counter argument to like, oh, but what about Skyrim? Skyrim is not a story experience. Please, it's not a story.
yeah. I think also, I don't know, maybe part of the problem was Xenoblade is like, well, the gameplay is fun and the world's cool and it's fun to explore the world and do the side quests, at least to a point.
Mm-hmm.
The game does require a lot of like grinding with the affinity charts and the side quests and the merc missions. So there's a lot of in between the story, which is what you
Yeah,
really want, and
sure.
the other stuff, so which extends the length of the game,
Yeah,
obviously. Like
the Affinity chart did extend
if
it.
you bum if you could, I mean you can. If you bum rush the story in that game, you can probably do it in around 20 hours, I want to say.
But Lord help you, that's a tough game. That's a real tough game if you do that, I think.
Yeah. I
That's a
mean,
really tough game. You got to be seasoned.
that's like saying basically doing a cutscene percent speed run of, like, you're doing a speed run of the game, but you're watching the cutscenes. Like, that's a cutscene percent speed run of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, again, this is my preference. I do like shorter games. I always have, unless it's like for story games. If it's not a story game, it doesn't make too much difference because I don't have to pay attention. Just ignore it, and I'm totally fine. Which is what I do for Destiny. I ignore the story completely, and it's great. It's
and you
great.
just shoot. You just shoot.
I just
things
shoot things, and
and
everybody's like,
collect loot and collect
great
loot.
too, because everybody's like, oh, but the lore here, and this is like, oh, who cares? Whatever. Can I shoot this guy or not? Should I shoot this guy? Yes.
I mean, honestly, lore doesn't do it for me. Like, maybe I'm dumb, or I just like, I really prefer stories to be told in like cutscene form. I don't want I don't want it talking in the background while I'm playing the game or like doing combat or shooting things. I don't want codexes that I have to go through and read. Like, no, show me the cutscenes, tell me the story through dialogue and through characters and through maybe a narrator.
Yeah,
that's how I like to enjoy my stories. Some people really like super lore heavy games, and I mean, it sounds like
Destiny 2 is a huge lore game.
Destiny 2 is a huge lore game, and that would not do it for me from a story perspective. I'm sure the lore of Destiny 2 is actually pretty deep and great from what people have say, but lore does not do it for me. It never does. I want you to tell me my story. Tell me the story through dialogue and cutscenes, basically.
Yeah, I'm actually with you. I'm 100% with you, actually. I would much prefer, if I'm trying to play a game with a story, which I've played a couple of those. Every once in a while, I'll play one that isn't a JRPG. I would much prefer it to be through cutscenes, dialogue, or something along those lines. And oh yeah, tries continue. I'll make a comment on that later. Like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, I actually like. There are codexes in that game, to be fair, and I've gone through the Mass Effect one. There's a lot in Mass Effect actually you could go through, and I've gone through them. Dragon Age, I haven't gone through as much of the codexes, but Dragon Age's stuff is interesting in the codexes. But they give you enough information through dialogue, cutscenes, and the like. You don't have to go through the codex if you don't want. You can learn as much as you need through the entire experience outside of that.
The story is in the game in those games. They just have a codex as a
it's extra appendix.
It's extra. Yeah, it's an appendix. It's just like, do you want to? Maybe you didn't understand like this term, or you're interested in this this piece of history or this event that they talked about in the cutscene that maybe they mentioned offhand. It's like, okay, you can go to the codex and read about that and see what that was about if you're interested. If you're not interested, you can ignore it freaking completely, and who cares? You'll still understand You'll still understand the story. So
And I prefer that. I'm actually with you. I agree with you. As much as I meme on the cutscenes of like Kingdom Hearts and like Xenoblade, actually the Xenoblade cutscenes, they're so much better than Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I much prefer the Xenoblade ones. I don't know what the difference is, but I think I just prefer those ones. I don't know why. Maybe it's just when Goofy and Donald are there, I get pissed off. I think that's probably it.
Kingdom Hearts has some good ones here and there, but
it does.
I feel like my problem with Kingdom Hearts and the way they do the story is, I mean, we've talked about this before. A, the Disney world's just like nothing happens in them and it's pointless. And B, there's just a lot of like pointless cutscenes where like you'll do one fight, or even sometimes you'll have a cutscene, you'll walk 10 feet and there'll be another cutscene. And it's like, well, okay, if there's going to be two cutscenes back to back, just string them together. Don't make me walk 10 feet before the next cutscene. But then there's just a lot of pointless cutscene where it's just like nothing happens, or it's just like watching Heartless spawn, or it's just like Sora walking and doing nothing, and I'm like, why was there a cutscene here?
You didn't
like,
need a cutscene for that.
Understand? Like, stop.
Yeah, I don't. Those ones I don't get. I think Xenoblade does have the ones where it's like, okay, cutscene, you walk 10 feet, cutscene. We'll call it the save break. Do you need to save and step away? Take your break.
Yeah, I think it's good for that in Xenoblade, because Xenoblade has some long stretches of cutscenes where, you would like to be able to save in between some of them.
Yeah. Speaking of bad cutscenes, Outriders dead. Outriders. We should finish that game though. We should 100% at least try to finish that game at some point. Someday.
I was
we will.
yeah, I was
We
kind
should.
yeah,
We should.
someday. I was kind of here's my thought about Outriders. If we never finish it, I don't really care.
Sure.
But if you want to finish it, I'm happy to finish it with you. So
No,
I'm leaving
I
it
want
to
to
you.
finish it.
I'm leaving it to you
it.
to ask me when you want to play it, and
Okay.
I will probably play it with you. But I am not going to. I'm probably not going to be the one to say, "Hey, let's go play Outriders."
Sure. Given new information, we should finish it, but we should at least see where the story goes. We should at least see where the story goes, no matter how poor it ends. If it does end poorly, because
Yeah,
I
then
think
we can just laugh at it.
Yeah, we can just laugh at it. There you go. Also, that game it's a standalone experience. So if there's people not playing it at the moment, it's because they've grinded out everything they can, and well, it's not a live service, so they don't update it like Destiny. That's kind of how it goes. If they lose a player base, that's because the player base is done with the content, so they move on. Very normal behavior. I just want to point out one last thing. The comments have been made against me in Destiny 2, so I would like to respond. I'd like to respond. I want a fair response to Vis and Try Courage for calling me out on the let's see here. Doesn't collect loot properly. Hasn't even collected loot in Destiny correctly. I want to respond. Here's my response. It must be tough being worse at Destiny than me, though. Like, even with all the best loot, it's tough. I understand, so you gotta call me out on the loot. But when raid time comes, we all know who performed the best at raid time. We all know who performed the best at raid time. He has to buy. Oh my God, Try Courage. Why? Why are you like this sometimes?
Yeah, those are coming tomorrow. Don't worry, it's already been done.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shit! What? Oh my God!
She told me to order them, dude. Don't even.
Holy shit!
Don't
Jesus
even.
Christ. Okay, fuck. Call it now. You be the first death. I won't be the first death. I can guarantee you that.
Take that bet, dude. Take that bet, Otto.
I 100% am taking that bet. Again, here's the deal. Here's the real deal. If you want honesty, I will give you honesty. I will not joke. Here's the honesty. Ian will probably be the first death. Yeah, I'm actually going to take that bet. Here's the thing. When it comes to locked in gamer mode, I'm number one of anybody in that chat. 100% number one. 100%. When it comes to lock the fuck in gamer mode, when I need to focus, I know what to do. I'll focus.
I don't know when it's time to fuck around and when it's time to game. It's time for gamer mode.
Time to lock
going in.
When it's time to lock in, it's me. It's literally me. It's literally me. This on 120%, fine, but it's literally me. Because here's why it's me. Okay, I know my role better than anybody. Am I going to be the number one player on the team for the Destiny raid? No. But I 100% know my role. I'll 100% ask how to play it, and I'll ask for help if I need it. Because the problem is, other people think they're hot shit. They think they're the hot shit. That's why pickup is great. Pickup basketball is great. Because some of those young kids, some of the kids, they think they're hot shit. And then I put on the hair thing to pull my hair back. I put on my goggles, and they realize, wow, that weird looking fucker is kicking our asses out here. Like, yeah, because you didn't lock in. I locked in. Otto is the best player because I know my role. I play it. I ask for help when needed, and I'll ask questions. That's why I'm the best one. Nobody else. That's me. This may be the best player of the game, but I'm the most locked in. That's all I have to say.
Otto's a great teammate.
That's it. I'm locked in more than anybody. That's the mentality, and that's what most people don't get. That's the mentality. Most people think they're hot shit. That's the wrong mentality. Not everybody's hot shit. Third most deaths. All right, I suppose I've leveled up in a sense. I suppose I'm no longer most deaths, third most. Auto is a great. I consider myself a team player. I used the gun that nobody else wanted to use, and I'm the team player. That's the difference. So I will be very truthful about that. Most of the time, I just don't lock in. I just don't need to. I don't have to. But locked in, it's different. It's a different game. I'm built different when I'm locked in. So that's all I have to say. And Spoon knows too. All right.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't have. My lab's not till 7.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were gonna have to go early.
No, I thought I was, but so basically the way that the labs are working are there's 2 different lab sections, and there's a 6 to 7:30. That's one, and then there's a 7:45 to 9:15. So I signed up for the 7:45 to 9:15, and I just have to basically I just take attendance and answer questions.
Yep.
So I'm just hanging out at the moment, and I'm just relax, and I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. Just hang out. Oh man.
Yeah.
Probably clean up D&D stuff actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow for that. So probably D&D stuff. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, or checking my email to make sure that they don't need any extra help.
Okay. I don't have anything else to talk about, so
Okay. Then if we don't have anything else to talk about, because I don't. We can close up. We can do
Yeah.
closing. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
I think we can close. That's fair. So be sure to check out the YouTube when the podcast video comes up or any other videos. Next week will be the Tales of Berseria stream on Monday. Anime Watch Party, I don't know what else to call it. Anime Watch group will be Sunday around 4 o'clock, I guess. Around 4 o'clock, unless something changes. The so when is try? You gotta chill. I gotta be honest. You gotta chill a little bit. You gotta chill a little bit. So tomorrow is D&D, 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10 Eastern. We have 7 players. It'll be every other week. So if we do this week, just you can do the math in your own head on that one. But we'll do. It seems like just one this month. And I guess the 28th will be the second one. That'll be it for the month. And we'll just keep conducting it that way unless something changes. And if something changes, we'll update that schedule. But I'll stream it onto the channel. And you'll get the DM perspective. For anybody that is watching and is not a part of the D&D campaign in particular, try not to spoil anything for the players. Obviously, I'm not going to stop you because I'm not gonna, but try not to. I'd appreciate if you didn't. That way the players get surprised when something happens, and it's a little bit more exciting when we get to drive the narrative in such a way where like things are more unexpected. If we're spoiling certain things, like, oh, there's something on the GM layer that you can see, and you say what it is or you guess what it is in the chat, the players are going to know, and they're no longer going to think as a character, they're going to think as themselves. And in some cases, thinking of themselves is more intelligent than the character. So just try not to do that. Or I guess for anybody's interested in watching Marvel's the Infinity War and Endgame movies, I'll try and coordinate that next week in particular. So Spoon, anything you want to add before we fully close down and everything?
Next week for podcast, we will be back to Wednesday,
Yes.
as per usual. However, I did mention this to Otto before. I'm getting my second vaccine shot that day, so I may be a little
Yeah.
oof. That I don't know how long it'll take the symptoms to kick in, but it may be a good idea for us to find a guest to help
Sure. Which
to help facilitate the conversation if I'm kind of blah
yeah, yeah.
that
Which
evening.
one are you getting? Pfizer, Moderna?
Moderna,
Okay.
which is the worst one apparently in
I
terms
can
of
tell
side
you
effects.
now. I can tell you now from experience, and everybody's different, so take it or leave it. The day of the shot, I personally was perfectly fine, and I know when Kate got it, she was fine. The day after, she was fine, but I wasn't. So if you know what, again, everybody's different, so
Yeah.
some people may not, other people may, but you know, I'm just saying, we're both around the same age. We're obviously different builds, but
yeah,
you know, think about that. Like day of, you might actually be okay, but the
yeah,
day
probably.
after, maybe you're sore the day of, I guess.
I mean,
but
I mean, we can do what we want, obviously, but I would think it's not a bad idea
no,
to
it's
call
not.
in a guest
No, it's
to
not.
call in a guest for next week just in
Sure.
case I get hammered by the shot.
Okay.
That day.
We'll start honing in on who we can have stop by and help out for the for facilitating conversation, or just I don't know, maybe we'll ask around a little bit outside of the normal group. I'll start seeing some other folks, and we'll see if we can get some different perspectives in here that are maybe not normally hanging around the podcast. So next week, possibly a guest, and possibly Spoon being not 100%.
Possibly.
So next Wednesday at our normal time will be the podcast episode. So okay, any other things before we end?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. One comment I will make is that Scarlet Nexus demo was the 21st.
Yep.
Since we aren't doing D&D that day, and I don't really have classes those days, I'd consider streaming on the podcast channel.
Okay.
If I have, you know, an hour to kill for it. I assume the demo is going to be like 30 minutes. So maybe I'll play the demo and do Xenoblade. That might be something I do.
At most, it would be like a couple of hours, but probably like honestly no more than like 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, that's
is
what I'm
probably
guessing.
Reasonable for what it would be.
I agree. I think that's reasonable too. So that would be my plan, because I don't know if I mentioned it, because I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, because tomorrow's typically Kate's day off, so we usually like do like go to the mall or something, do other stuff, but if not, you know, I would love to play Xenoblade. But next week when I do the demo, I'm assuming the demo will take 30 minutes to an hour. So what I'll do next week is I'll play the demo, and after that, assuming I'm not finished, which I'm gonna say it's probably safe to say I'm not finished. So that'll be my plan next Friday.
Was Xenoblade?
Yeah. Oh no, I doubt. I just
you still have three chapters to go, buddy.
Yeah,
you're not.
Yeah.
You're getting there, but you're not like that close to the end of the game.
I'm not gonna finish it by then. So, so that'll be like next Friday. That's my plan. So, okay, cool. Well, we're gonna close there. Thanks everybody for watching. This was a good episode. Got some good news in. Got some nice little. I got a nice little surprise from Spoon. So again, I'm very happy for you, Spoon. So hopefully everything goes well. And yeah, no, next Monday the Tales of Berseria stream. I'm hoping that goes super well, and I don't have class or anything that day, which is wonderful. So maybe I'll be able to stop by. And again, everybody, D&D tomorrow. Hopefully, if you like D&D and you want to watch or critique my DMing, you're welcome to. So that's it. Thanks, Spoon, and thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. If not tomorrow, Monday. If not Monday, heaven forbid, not Monday as well. Then next week, podcast Wednesday.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night.